everybody, welcome to Big E's Auto. I'm obviously Big E. So today we're working on 2003 Dodge Ram 1500 Hemi. We're going to be doing the rear brake drum, rotors and brake pads. Okay, wow, it's been a long day. Sorry guys, hang with me. Rotors and brake pads is what we're doing. So let me get you in here behind where the action's going to be. It's going to be hard to see here. If I can get a light in on here for you guys to even see. So basically we're going to remove these bolts here for your, let me adjust the camera here, try and get you down so this makes sense. Okay, so you see this bolt here, it's a 10mm bolt. It's what holds, it's a slider bolt that holds your caliper, so it slides back and forth on your actual bracket. You're going to need a 21mm wrench socket for removing the bracket that the caliper bolts to. Okay, so that's what the box side looks like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and move you guys, now that you see what it is, I'm going to move you guys over here a little bit. Okay, I don't know, that might help a little bit. So you can watch what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, after I put gloves on, because this is messy as shit with the brake dust and grease and road grime. So what you want to do is grab yourself a 10mm socket, ratchet, whatever. So we're going to remove those slider bolts first, okay? And yes, I probably haven't, these are probably still haven't been broken loose from when I bought the truck in 2003. So, but then again, this truck only has 82,000 miles on it. So, the brake, what sucks is the brake pads still have lots of life on them. It's these rotors, and I'll show you when I take them off. They're rusted out. They look terrible. It's just not safe. The truck does not stop well at all. Even though we did do the front brakes, I believe it was in the spring. We did new rotors and brake pads in the front. Now we're going to do the rear. So I'm removing that bottom slider bolt. There's two bolts. There's an upper one and lower one for the caliper here. So and you can tell because they have rubber boots on. They're 10mm. When you pull them out, they're going to look like that. Okay, 10mm bolt. Like that. Alright, so now it should, and you know what, I forgot a darn pry bar, which is shame on me for being unprepared. So I'm actually gonna, I know, don't use a tool improperly, and I'm going to, because I just don't feel like running to the back of the garage right now to do that. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to leave that there. We're going to take the bracket off next, because this is all one piece anyway. We got to take the bracket off to get the rotor off. So get your 21 wrench, combination wrench deal here. You want to loosen those up, and then get yourself a 21mm ratchet, socket, whatever, impact gun. And we're going to get these off next. You can do it in any order. I just like starting at the top. Now we gotta make sure too, I guess when we put this back together, we'll put some penetrating oil, because this does not feel good coming out of here. So, and it is a tight fit on top of it, which doesn't help. Between you have the leaf spring right here, or else I could get, I could easily get an impact in there. And it's coming now. So this is what the bolt looks like here. All right, when you pull that out, like I said, it's going to have a 21mm head on it. Now we're going to get that lower one. See if I can get you down here. You can see what I'm doing. So, oh, see, Oh, there's the problem. I'll show you the problem. In fact, let me lift this out here. I can't. It's all jumbled up. I'm going to explain it to you, and then I'm going to show it to you. So anyway, this came off, and I'm looking at the inside brake pad, and the lining actually separated from the back plate. So that could be one of the reasons why it's not stopping either. So I think what we're going to do here, I'm going to get that off with an impact, so that way I can hold it with one hand and wrench it off with the impact with the other. When I get this apart, I'm going to show you that brake pad, and then we're going to get this rotor off, and then we're going to go from there. Alright guys, back here. So we got the bracket off that the caliper slides on. Okay, so this would be the back side. The bolts would come in like this. Okay, so got the brake pads off. Now the front one, I mean, they fell apart. Both of them came off the backing plate. This was the front one. You can see there's some meat there. Back one, not so good. Actually, part of it broke off. It was so thin on there. So that's my mistake. Anyway, I should have done a better job monitoring that, but I didn't. Anyway, what it is, it is. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is get this off the actual rotor. So we're going to put some penetrating oil in here. Alright, now the other thing I did too was I'm going to this thing is on there. So I'm going to use a hammer to get it off, but to kind of help yourself that you don't booger up your lug nuts and make yourself more of a headache, put your lug nuts on. If you have open ones, just put them on so that they're flush. The lug nuts, if you hit them with a hammer, you can replace them a lot easier than you can a wheel lug. They protect the threads that in case you miss with the hammer and you whack against the lug, it's better to whack against the lug nut than it ends against the actual lug, because then you'll fuck the threads up and you won't be able to get the lug nut on, so which is going to be more work to the auto parts store, a lot of cursing, a lot of fucking extra aggravation that you don't need. So the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, holds true here. So put your lug nuts on to protect them. Okay, so spray some penetrating on. And it doesn't matter if you're gonna heat it up, because you're replacing it anyway. And you can, it's starting to get there. You can see it's getting there. There we go. So what you can do now is take your lug nuts off. Now remember too, on these rear ones, this is also for your parking brake, so make sure your parking brake is off as well. Okay? Because the last thing you want to do is spend an hour beating on the thing. Hey, it's not coming off, what the hell? And then find out later, here you left your parking brake on. Not like I've ever done it ever in the past. Yeah, right. Been there, done that, so yeah, voice of reason. Sounds stupid, just double check that your parking brake's off. Okay, so now I'll get this last lug nut off. And we have that. So, wonder why those are worn, not like I use it. So yeah, they're pretty effed up. These rotors are more than shot. I mean, you can see they're bad. So, what we're going to do here is put the new rotor on. I had a mental deal there. So, we'll set this to the side. We're going to, here is the new rotor. We'll get you the part number right there. So let's pull these puppies out. We're going to inspect them, make sure everything's all in the up and up. You want to look them over, make sure there's not a left and a right, which I don't think there would be on this truck. Not like it's a performance car. So we're going to take the plastic off. And put them on like that. Okay, so now you got yourself a fresh rotor to work with. And you can see it has the crosshatch, the unidirectional marks on it, which is good, which will help seat your brake pads. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to put the bracket on on here. Always some kind of frustrating thing here. Alright, so we can do that later as well too. Actually, this should probably go like that. That's probably why it's not working. There it is. Alright, so what we're going to do now, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take a bottom lug nut, run that in by hand, just to help kind of hold the rotor in place. It'll make reassembly just that much easier. Okay. Now what we can do, we can put this on. Yeah. Why am I having a moment here? I had a retard moment where I just totally forgot how it went back together. I don't know why. It's like I only took it apart a couple minutes ago, but so we're gonna check our lineup here, and we're gonna finger start. And I remember I said I was gonna put some oil on these. And I'm going to. So there's some on that one. Let's get this one started. Okay, let's put some oil on that as well. Now, what we can do is those mounting bolts. Those are those 21 millimeter ones. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten those up. Now the fact that that top bolt is in there, I mean, it's going to help keep the alignment there for when you tighten the bottom one. Okay, now that's tight, so now we'll run the top bolt in. All right. So we're gonna, that all sounds good. Let me move you guys a little closer to what's going on here. Okay, I feel like you're like 10 miles away and you're not getting anything out of it. So let me put some stuff here out of the way I don't need. So now what we're at, we're gonna put the brake pads on next. I'm just trying to make room here for me to kneel. And the bolt keeps falling off, and it's really starting to piss me off. Alright, so now we got our brake pads. I don't know if you guys, part number for rear brake pads. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open that up. Rip into them. Okay, so now, boy, they don't give you much brake hose here. Holy crap. Alright, so what I'm going to do, yeah, this isn't, we're going to find one of those junky brake pads I just had. We're going to use that. Let me see. There's a lot of positioning here, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this brake pad, and I'm going to put it across here, and you're going to ask, why are you doing that? Well, I'm going to use that because I don't have a fancy schmancy piston installer, but I do, however, have a C-clamp. But I want to make sure I have even pressure on that piston. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I really wish they gave me more hose to work with here than what I have, because they're not making this easy. So I'm going to try and fit it. Damn it. Of course it's going to hit everything, because that's just what shit does. Alright, so I'm going to try and spin this in to hold it in place and then realign everything to make sure it's straight. I don't want to get that piston crooked in the bore, because then you risk gouging that bore. You don't want to do that, because then now you got to replace a caliper. And they can get pretty expensive sometimes. So I'm trying to make sure, it's hard to see on camera, I'm trying to make sure I have that boom coming down on the C-clamp. I'm having it get as straight as I can on that piston. And it is going to walk a little bit as you're tightening it, but as long as you're fairly, that's why I have the brake pad, because it's going to try and it's going to distribute the force. That's going to help make it more even as well. So keep turning that C-clamp until you can't anymore, and then back it off. Okay? So now we have that ready to go. Now the next thing we got to do is the brake pad. So what we're going to do here, you got to look where the sliders are here and kind of get them in there. And the trick is getting them in even. That's the trick. So it seems a little too big, but it's the only hammer I have on me. So we'll carefully try and tap that up in there. And of course, it's giving me run around. Sometimes this can be the most frustrating, because that has to be like within, there we go. So there's your inside brake pad. Here's the, you want to make sure that your brake pad here matches the contour of your of the brake rotor. Okay, so we'll try and push that up in there, and hopefully able to line this up to get it to slide on there a little bit better. Of course, it's not going to cooperate. It's going to give me a hard time as usual. Of course. There we go. Just make sure. I'll show you then here. Real quick, just show you the back. You see, you want to make sure that your pads here are seated against your rotor. Okay, how it's tight there. All right, because then that's going to help with the getting this back on. So that's going to be our next. Make sure your sliders are out. It looks like there's something. I wonder what's holding me up here. Just. I wonder if this has to go like underneath. And then, yeah, It's probably what it has to be. It has to. These have to come up because that's going to help hold it in place, I believe. Because just so it's, there we go. Now you had that fall in like that. So make sure that the bottom is good as well. Sometimes this can be a real booger. So grab one of your bolts here, put it in your slider, and you have to see if you're able. You might need a pry bar, maybe a little hammer persuasion, but not too much. You don't want to get nuts. Of course, you know, my lighting isn't great back here. So anyway, I'm going to take a breather here, see if I can line that up. When I get it together, I'll come back and I'll show you what the finished thing and what I did to get it that way. Alright guys, kind of hard to see what the... let me turn this down. Jeez, I forgot that was blasting. Alright, so what we're doing here is road test, obviously. So, new brake rotors, new brake pads, a little bit of rust bust. Road test time. So, I have the truck running, obviously. With it in park, I'm going to go ahead. Now, I pump it like 4 times. Now, the first time you pump the brake, it's going to feel spongy as hell and go all the way to the floor. That's why I want to pump it until you get a nice pedal, okay? So then, what I'm going to do here, we're going to just do this real short trip here. So you don't want to do anything aggressive as far as stopping. What you want to do is, I don't know if you could tell that, but yeah, there's train wreck still there. Gradual, slow stops. Okay, you want to have those pads. If you jam on the brakes when they're new, sometimes they'll get a glaze on them because they'll get too hot. So what you want to do, and now the other thing I like to do as well, I like to go in reverse, especially with rear brakes. They say it helps adjust them up, so I do a little bit of that. Brake, real light brake. Brake, see, real smooth, light brake is what you want to do. Okay, so now I'm going to do, fine, I'm going to end this off, I'm going to go in reverse. And you listen for any kind of weird noises. Clunking, grinding, I don't hear anything. So, that's road test. Sounds like everything is good. The brake pedal feels good. Everything feels tight. I'm anxious to see once I drive this thing in traffic how it's going to stop. Hopefully it stops a lot better. As bad as those brake pads are, I don't see how it could stop any worse. Anyway, so that's how you can do that. Hopefully it helps. Try it out on your own truck. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. As always, check me out on Instagram at Big E's Garage. Facebook, it's Big E's Auto. And right here, Big E's Auto on YouTube. Check it out. Alright, so till next time, watch out for each other. Take care of each other. See you next time right here, Big E's. Take care. Bye for now.